the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing but space and rocks and stuff like that. But as time continued to turn, we came closer and closer to something truly special. The era of original games. This might not look impressive in 2024, but being a kid during the early decades of gaming was like a dream, goddammit. The GameCube, the Game Boy, PlayStation, Wii, there was a sense of magic. Everything was exciting. Pokemon was actually good because everything was new. But then, something changed. Remakes and remasters. It's a tale as old as time itself. Why make a new game when you can just bring back a beloved classic with a few tweaks here and there? And the more time that passed, the more game companies began to realize what this theme meant for them. Free money, obviously, but also the chance to reintroduce forgotten games to a new and even an old, likely depressed audience. A chance to breathe new life into the inaccessible titles they're truly passionate about, and give them another chance to shine in the spotlight, which I think is a really great thing. But here's the problem. $50 for this? I want you to look me directly in my face eyes and explain to me why, released in between two other Mario games that we've actually been asking for, we got this $50, $30 game. I hate you. Bottom line, Nintendo's been pretty bad lately, disgracefully pushing these full-priced remakes onto us left and right, and I've decided that they need to be spanked. With my mouth. So let's get into the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. The Mario Toy Company, an organization so large and successful that it has an entire diversity and inclusion department which hires toads of all colors, and sales are absolutely popping off with its new mini Mario toys. You see, unlike Nintendo in real life, Mario is a businessman, and understands that you actually need to market your products to your audience if you want them to buy them, which brings us right into the opening cutscene. This giant ape is instantly enamored by the mini Marios after watching a commercial, and immediately runs out of his house and gallops to the toy store, only to learn that they're completely sold out. Plan B, he blasts into the company itself, eats a couple toads, probably, starts loading the toys into a sack like he's Swiper the Fox, and gets caught by the big boss literally as soon as he walks outside. So then Mario's like, "Hey, wait!" and begins to chase him across 8 worlds, and then 8 more worlds in order to... I gotta read this quote from the GBA manual. "Recover his stolen trinkets and give Donkey Kong a good talking to for not pre-ordering." This is not a story game, obviously. And while we don't get a Romeo and Juliet level narrative where Mario banishes DK to another 10 years until the next game in his franchise, and goes back to give Princess Peach his Italian hoagie with extra mushrooms, Witcher style, we do get a pretty absurd and charming setup. Mario vs. Donkey Kong was originally all about bringing back the vibes from the arcade days. It was lovable, came in with a fun mix of mechanics, some questionable sprite work, but everything from the cutscenes to the animations to even the voice lines actually tried to stand out. Do you remember when Mario was like, But I honestly feel like in this remake, all of that individuality is lost. The art style, while colorful and clean, ends up looking just like your generic 2D Mario game from, like, the Wii. The cutscenes just kind of bridge one part of the game to another without really adding anything substantial. The voice lines, look what they took from us.
Nice Italian boy.
Anyways, how about the music? Actually, really good. In a video game that felt like how an unseasoned, boiled piece of chicken breast tastes, this soundtrack is really what stood out the most to me. Donkey Kong Jungle's got this fun xylophone and piano. Fire Mountain, A, has kind of a mysterious thing going on with its harp and woodwinds. The fucking bongos! This one's my favorite. But despite the jammers, I think this remake is a great example of the overall problem with so many remakes. Laziness, a lack of understanding of what made the original version special, and the absence of any ambition to elevate beyond it. Based off of presentation alone, this game just feels like some soulless riffraff buying time for the Switch 2. But what about the game? I don't even know where to begin here. Each of Mario vs. Donkey Kong's 8 worlds are divided into 8 short levels, the first 6 of which are broken up into 2 halves, where Mario must bring a key to unlock a door in the first in order to grab a mini Mario toy in the second. The objective is to complete each of these levels within the given time limit, while also taking a few detours to collect a few optional presents. This is boring. Just like the level design. This is the bread and butter of a puzzle platformer. And while the worlds themselves are all really distinct and interesting, especially with the two new ones introduced in the remake, I have seen 2D anime boobies with more depth than some of the design elements found within them. Shifting conveyor belts, crumbling floors, enemies moving in simple patterns, I see these same gimmicks in almost every single environment unchanged, like they were all manufactured in a fucking Vietnamese sweatshop. Oh no, I wonder what I'm supposed to do here. The core foundation of Mario v DK's design is solid, and there are definitely aspects that even deserve a good noodle star, like Merry Miniland for example. Easily my favorite area with the smooth flower wind tunnels and teleportation boxes. So why? Why did they decide to reuse the color switch mechanic for 80% of the game's puzzles? It makes no sense. There are things I can move past, like plus levels regurgitating the same 8 environments like a mama bird to its kids, and also, I lied earlier, because introducing a slippery ice world into the remake was an absolute atrocity, but where I felt truly wronged was the movement. I understand it's a different genre than the platformers, so naturally the movement will feel different, but the developers really biffed it here. Mario controls like, I don't even know, a donkey with autism. Disjointed and stiff, I don't think I've ever played a game where it felt more awkward to link together a string of moves. It's outrageous. But if we're talking about truly depraved decisions, the boss fights. What? I mean, these are all things that could have been fixed in a game remade from the ground up. You repeat this fight 8 times, except it's actually 16 times. The repetitiveness broke me down, to the point where I was a hollow shell of the gamer I once was. Until I got to the very end and fought Donkey Kong in a goddamn Gundam. Watching Mario beat the piss out of this preposterous final battle was actually awesome, and this brought me an epiphany. I wasn't expecting this game to be mind-blowing or inventive or as difficult as it was when I was an idiot 7-year-old, and it didn't need to be. It's incredibly repetitive, and I wish it followed a more consistent curve of progression, but why I ultimately think it works is because it is so casual and relaxing. You can pop it on and just vibe. The world is colorful, the mechanics are simple, the Shy Guys are cute, and while some of the decisions Nintendo made might seem bananas to me, I can still relate to the 3 or 4 people that like the original enough to be excited about this remake. Let me tell you a little secret. 100%ing Mario vs. Donkey Kong is like buying your wife a pair of beautiful earrings for your 10-year anniversary so she can wear them on a date with her boyfriend. It kinda sucks. The entire game is centered around artificially extending playtime by introducing endless ways of replaying the same exact levels, only to give you nothing as a reward for completing them. It honestly blows my mind just how insulting this process is. So let's just get into it. There are a total of 136 levels in the game to complete, broken up across standard, plus, and expert levels. Once you complete all 64 standard levels and defeat Donkey Kong for the 9th time, he crashes into a truck full of mini Marios and just steals them again, unlocking the plus levels, essentially rehashes of the first 8 worlds, which require you to guide the mini Marios that slipped out of DK's sack to the locked door instead. In addition to the plus levels, you also unlock a time attack mode, which challenges you to recomplete every single level within a given parameter of time, and the expert levels, 16 additional stages themed after the 16 worlds in the game. Expert levels are unlocked by collecting stars from the standard and plus levels, finding all 3 presents in the normal ones, guiding all 6 mini Marios to the toy box in the mini Mario ones, and giving DK a hand job without taking any damage at the end of each world. The expert levels are actually super cool, and ended up being my favorite part of the game because I actually had to use my brain to complete some of them, but the time attack mode is the laziest, most disgraceful method to extend the game's playtime I've ever seen. All you have to do is just play the level again. There aren't any strats, any unique movement combos to pull off, just go play all 136 levels again, you idiot. Which I did. Thwarting DK's Gundam and watching the final credits unlocks time attack for the plus levels and adds a silver medal next to your save file as a little trinket to mark the occasion. And once you obtain all 136 stars in the game, that metal turns gold. But outside of adding a puny clock emblem to the stage's icon, you get absolutely nothing for completing all of the time attack levels, because the developers are evil and lazy, and decided to recreate this game in its entirety, with new cutscenes, voice lines, and entire new worlds, but refused to add any meaningful rewards when I sacrificed, like, 12 hours of my life mindlessly replaying each and every level. As a true Nintendo fan, I will complain about their games non-stop while buying every single one of them anyways, but they just could have done more here. They could have added a mini-game like Super Mario Advance did, or a new mode like Link's Awakening, instead of contributing directly to the current climate of stupid remakes. So, if you're a fan of the series, enjoyed the demo, or are just looking for a simple game to vibe out to, buy it on sale. And if you've made the brazen decision to buy this game raw, full price like I did, you're going to want to get your handcocks back on that controller pussy and farm that gold medal while you wait for the actual cool remake coming in May.